Hi, Hogs. This video here is just talking about some football basics just to kind of lay some groundwork. So we're using common terminology when the season starts. For older players, this should be something that just review, something you already know, but I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. So here I just have the gaps listed and the techniques listed on this formation. Uh, and I just want to talk about, make sure we know what the different techniques there are and the different gaps that there are. So we'll start from the inside going out. So this is the center here. On either side of the center are the A gaps. There are two A gaps on either side of the center. Outside of them, on the outside part of the guard, that's the B gap on each side. Outside the tackle, that's the C gap. And then outside a tight end, our H is on the line of scrimmage here. He's typically off, but even if he's off outside, the H is the D gap. And then if there was another person outside him, it would be the E gap, and so on and so forth. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, I will refer to defensive players as techniques. And starting from the inside out, if there was a head up nose guard on the center, he would be considered a zero technique, which we should all be familiar with because we have that in our defense. If they line up on either shoulder of the center, that's considered a one technique. Now, all of the odd numbers, those are, I just realized this is not correct. So let me change this here. If a defender lines up in a gap, that is an odd number technique. So notice if they line up in the gap on either side of the center, that's a one technique. If they line up in the gap outside the guard, that's a three technique. If they line up outside the tackle, that's a five technique. If they line up outside the H, that is a seven technique. If they are a head up position, like here the zero nose, that's considered a zero. If they are head up on the guards, that's considered a two technique. Just like that. If they are head up on the tackle, that's considered a four technique. And then if they were head up on the tight end or the H, that is considered a six technique. So head up techniques are even, gap techniques are odd, and I'll refer to those many times throughout the year, and that's really important to know. So if I'm communicating with you on the sideline, asking you what type of technique they are, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, this is used less often, but linebackers also have techniques, but you just add a zero to them. So here they're in the gap in between the guard and the tackle, so that's considered a 30 technique. If he was head up on the guard, that would be a 20. If he was head up over the center, that would be known as a double zero technique. It's the same thing, you just add a zero to it if we're talking about linebackers. So that would be useful if I'm asking where the linebackers lined up, and you can say, oh, he's lined up in a 40, or he's lined up in a 30, or he's lined up in a 20, just to make sure we're using the same terminology. Or you could say he's lined up in the B gap, or he's lined up in the A gap, so we can just communicate and be on the same page. So that's pretty much the Lineman 101 that I wanted to talk about with you guys in this video.